and welcome to Dungeoneered, a podcast dedicated to discussing Dungeons and Dragons. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Josh.
Let's do this. All right, Josh, so for this week, for Lukewarm Open, I was thinking of something a little bit, I wouldn't say different, but I wanted to do something that is a very common, fun cliche in fantasy settings. And I was thinking, I want to make some sort of like werewolf societies. Like a werewolf, like a group of werewolves. But what I'm thinking also is, like as a subcategory to this, is what do you think would be an interesting, like, were creature? Like, besides a werewolf, or I know there's like were tigers in D&D.
Yeah, there's were bears, were rats, were
rats. What, I mean, can you be aware of anything? Can you be like a were peacock or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think you could. I mean,
Like, what is there any lore behind?
Yeah, I mean, we can save that for
like a disease,
episode.
Right?
It's a curse.
Ah. And then, like, how does the curse dictate what form you take when you transform?
Yeah, I believe it is,
Like, do you have to get bit by a rat to be a were-rat? Like,
okay.
Is there a were-boar?
From what I know about,
pig?
I believe were-rats are... I think were-rats are worse than other were-creatures. Okay,
How big are they, too? Because that would suck. I mean, at least a werewolf, you're like a cool, huge, giant wolf creature. But being a were-rat?
I don't think you're that much
like
bigger
scroungy.
than... I don't think you're that much bigger than, like, a regular humanoid.
I'm assuming you're just, like, human shape. Yeah.
Yeah. You might even be smaller, which would be funny.
You, like, turn and transform into a little rat boy.
But, I believe, and I think it's were-rats, they, like, don't secrete the stuff that turns you into a were-creature.
Ah, so were-rats are just like the lowest of the low of the wares? The lycanthropes would be the proper term.
That would be the proper term.
I think I like the term wares better, though, you know? That's going to be our society's name, our order's name of lycanthropes. They're going to be called the wares. And they are all were-rats. Can you have, like, were-dogs? Can you be like a were-cat? A were-cat. How about a were-meerkat?
I mean, you could be all types of tigers and all types of... Yeah, so I assume you could be different types of cats and whatnot.
Why is it rat, were, and rat, were, wolf, and tiger? Why is it those three? Do you know, even? Or am I just, like, talking way out of your league?
Oh, you're talking way out of my league. I'm going on I'm trying to research it as you're talking right now, and I'm like, I
literally have no idea anything about lycanthropy except for that it's in Skyrim and it's in D&D.
Well, so I know this stuff from just my own basic research, but
I think a wereboar would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I think wereboar exists. I know in I think it was 3rd edition, they had the stat blocks, so playable stat blocks not playable stat blocks, playable, like, the racial bonuses and everything for humanoid forms for every single animal, pretty much.
Oh, dang.
Like, it was a huge list.
I mean, like,
of
basic types of animals.
Yeah, it was like
so how would
list.
you, like, what would you do with were creatures? What would you, like, with lycanthropes? What would you do? Would you make, like, an order?
The classic is, like, defenders of the forest, or, like, something like that.
Yeah, you're right, yeah. Isn't it also, there's a trope of, like, fight and kill fairies in the forest? Isn't that a trope? Or is that just something I'm thinking of?
I mean, I wouldn't put it against them.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
No.
You're right. So, what would you do? Would you do the classic defenders of the forest?
Now, ratmen, or were-rats, were cannibals, eating uninfected humans and subsisting on what they could scavenge or steal.
Oh, I love were-rats.
Now, this is horrible. This is where it gets weird. Were-rats were noted to rarely mate with other were-rats, instead mating with uninfected humans. The progeny of a male were-rat and a human woman was human, but the child would inherit many of the physical characteristics of its father in his human form. The child of a female were-rat and a male human were giant rats with paws that resembled human hands, known as ratlings.
Oh gosh. So are were-rats like permanently lycanthropes? Like, are they
No, they can
do they
turn
not change?
into, and they change.
I
But
have
as you
an
said,
awesome idea
as
for
you
a society.
guessed, they are considered the lowest of the low were creatures. And since they're so weak,
It makes me want to
they
create
live
like
in
a.
packs.
It makes me want to create like a group of rat folk that are like their king is like a were rat
Hmm.
who's like human, but he transforms into a were rat. I think that'd be really fun, and they like almost like worship him like a goblin king, like in Lord of the Rings type thing. And he's just like this like scrawny, mangy dude who can turn into a were rat, and for some reason the rat folk think he's cool. That'd be kind of fun. Rat folk are like one of my favorite things in D&D also.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of my favorite races. I love rat folk. But I also like Skaven and Warhammer. I love them too.
Yeah, and those are just rat
Even though
folk,
they're horrible.
really.
Yeah. Yep, they are. I just love the like concept of living in like a really big, rundown, destroyed, gross city. Like an infested, gross city. I think that's a really fun concept. But anyways, what would you do for a were-rat? Like, were lycanthropes? What would you do? What would
Well,
you
as
go
I
with?
said, the big trope would be the kind of protector of the forest. I would probably go for I'm trying to think of keeping it similar, but like keeping it so it's in this range of like stuff that people have heard of, but also making it unique. So what I'm thinking is some kind of like, ooh, no, I got it. They're rat folk. They're were rats that are like the thieves guild of the city.
Yeah, that's a fun idea.
And so part of the
Yeah, I like that a
initiation
lot.
into this thieves guild is you get infected with this were rat lycanthropy.
That would suck. That'd be awful.
Well, no, what it does is it makes you
so bad.
it makes you resistant to every type of damage except by silver weapons and magic. That's powerful in of itself.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But you have to turn to a were-rat, you know? You don't even get to be a werebear or were-tiger.
But you don't have to be in your were form ever if you don't want to. And you're more dexterous than you normally would be. Like, there are benefits to it.
Are most were creatures, do they like transform during the full moon type deal? Is that like a thing, or is I know, unless you're obviously like a blood hunter or whatever, and that lycanthropy.
Well, so I think
variations
I don't
of the curse. Probably.
I don't think there's an insane amount of stuff written for D&D lycanthropy.
Yeah, I also thought of a fun concept that would be like a wandering samurai, but he like when he duels, he like turns into a werewolf. And that'd be really.
I always had my wandering
would you have
samurai like were creature or lycanthrope. They would always be were tiger because it just felt better. It just felt more.
Yeah. I just hate the name were tiger. It's terrible. Were tiger. It just sounds awful. Like werebear sounds pretty good. Werewolf sounds pretty good. Even were rat sounds pretty alright. But were tiger.
Yeah, it's one of those things that works for like one or two, and then when you try it for anything else,
tiger,
it's like it just doesn't work. Yeah, were tiger, were rat is okay, but it's still pushing it.
Were rat's all right. Werebear is cool because they like rhyme. You know, it kind of flows pretty nice.
Yeah,
werewolf sounds the best, obviously.
Yeah,
but were tiger. I mean, you couldn't call it anything else. You couldn't be like a were bangle. A were
bangle
kitty.
A were panda. Cat. I'm a were panda.
A were panda.
The most dangerous of all of the were creatures. The were panda.
The were panda. What about a group of animals that got a curse that they could transform into humans?
See, that would be a fun twist on the trope.
I think that'd be pretty fun too. Is that even a thing? Can that even be a thing? That'd be funny.
I mean, I would make it be a thing like once these people have already established themselves, like they have figured out how to act human. So it wouldn't be you wouldn't see them like humanoids acting like monster. Ooh, okay. Maybe the quest for it would be like all of a sudden people start seeing these weird humans that are acting weird and strange. And then eventually you find this like colony
running on all fours.
Yeah, eventually you find this colony of like these animals that turned into humans, and so like they try to like catch the new converts, the newly changed before that they are detected, but clearly some were not because you as the PCs got given a quest to check it out.
What would they even be called? Werehumans? Werehumanoids?
I mean, I don't think we need to keep the same. I don't know.
That'd be so interesting. I don't even know how I'd introduce that into a game, to be honest. I mean, if you wanted to go like a joke, you could do like a cow farm, and at night, all the cows turn into humans. But that might be weird.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you notice this branded human walking down the street.
Yeah. He's got like a cowbell around his neck.
Mm-hmm. This sounds like the story of like a really bad anime.
It does. Or like were sheep, like,
and all of them are gonna become
like
waifus.
when they get, yeah, or like were sheep, like when they get sheared, like when they transform into the humanoid, they're like completely bald. But like over time and progress, like the more their fur grows from being a sheep, like they become hairier and hairier as their human form. It's so stupid. Mm-hmm. I don't know how you'd make a concept of animals turning into humans interesting without being just completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
A family of beavers, and they turn into humans.
Well, I think I think I'm going to cut us off here.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I was thinking about what topic to do this week, and I thought about Obsidian Entertainment again. I know this will be our third week talking about them because we did 2 on Fallout New Vegas, but we're going to be talking about their other properties today.
Okay, we can finally move away from the terrible game that is Fallout New Vegas.
Ugh, you are. Oh, man. I don't agree with that in any way. Okay. This week, I played Obsidian's top-down RPG, Pillars of Eternity. And
super fun.
Yeah, and just literally in the beginning when I was picking out like what character I wanted to play, the playable races immediately got my like love for lore going, and I'm like, ooh, like who are these people? Why are they like this? Like this is so cool because they're like uncommon races that I've never heard of or seen in any other fiction. And I'm like, that's so cool. And so I was like, I got to dive in and see what like more of this lore because I know there's a bunch of it because it's an Obsidian game.
How many races do they have?
It's like 6 or 7. I don't know. I didn't record how many they had, but like
from like the classic fantasy setting.
From the ones that I chose, there's like a bunch of variations of each of those races as well. So,
like cultures, or they look different.
They look different. So like the one I chose was the godlike. So they're like Azamar, but they're like, if when someone became or was chosen as an Azamar, they became like a full-on half-god. Like, they look like a god. Like, it's crazy levels of, like...
I feel like that's pretty intimidating.
Oh, it is. And it's really cool. And like it's spoken of in, like, the Azamar lore that, like, when someone is seen as an Azamar, like, it's this huge boon. But, like, these guys, it really, like, shows, and... people are like, wow, if a godlike is here, that like it clearly affects people who see that you as that being, which is really cool. But so this week we're going to talk about Pillars of Eternity, and their world, Eora, and its gods. From this, my idea for what we will do is we will detail which gods survived our like god war. And why they survived and who they are.
Okay, yeah.
So in ancient Eora, every civilization worshipped a different god. And eventually that led to tensions between societies that led to horrifying holy wars. One society at this time called Engwith hated this and wanted it to end. Engwith society sought knowledge of the true creators and what was really out there. Now, Engwith also hoped to learn more from this knowledge about souls and other metaphysical topics as well. What they discovered, though, was devastating. There was nothing out there. No gods or deities. Now, this doesn't mean that there wasn't any ever, but whatever was there at one point long abandoned Eora. That was clear. Engwith feared others discovering this, and they feared what the destruction of the world would only get worse if this was discovered. So they came up with a plan. In Eora, souls are incredibly powerful, and they are integral to parts of magic and the abilities of the body based on the strength of one's soul. Engwith society used their knowledge of souls to create artificial gods to fill the void.
Gosh.
They used powerful magical machines to extract the souls of thousands of Engwiths assembled inside chambers. Men, women, children, elderly, it didn't matter. Everyone was used for these transformations. These deity they created were sculpted from an ideal and lore of established deities. They made 11 in total from this process.
So what, they tried to make their own versions of what the gods were like?
Yeah, so they had
so
they looked around the world and saw what people were already fake worshiping, these gods that didn't exist, and they kind of put their own ideas of what the god should be, and those kind of ideas of how they already thought the god would work and who the god was, and they kind of melded those to make these 11 gods.
That's a really cool concept.
It is. I loved it. As soon as I heard it, I was like, this is so cool. Now
like people who are worshiping, they made the gods they're worshiping.
Yes.
Because they tried to make the gods that they were worshiping through their own means. It's interesting.
Well, it's not just what they were worshiping, it's what everyone in the world was worshiping. So they had to look at the other societies and create their gods at the same time, because they didn't want warring like this to continue.
Wait, can I make a prediction?
Yes.
Do these gods they make fight the other real gods?
No. As I said, the other gods, there are no other gods. That's the point. Even if there were gods, they long abandoned this land. They don't care about it. They don't care about its people. They're not there at all. Now, the remaining Engwith civilians were sent out as missionaries for these new faiths, establishing them across the globe. These remaining Engwith all knew the origin of these gods, but never revealed them, and even voluntarily agreed to celibacy to make sure their lines were extinguished when they died.
Do you say involuntarily?
No, voluntarily. They said yes, it's okay. Now, this frankly astonishing undertaking didn't go perfectly, as you can imagine. 2 of these missionaries got careless. They were talking about the gods and what happened in the creation in one of the temples, and were overheard by a wood elf. She was determined to reveal this to the world, but it wasn't as easy as it sounds. But she was defiant and created a popular atheist movement denouncing these fake gods. In the end, the authors of the project to create the gods created the Inquisition, a group specifically to take out this atheist group. And in the end, Theos, the antagonist of the first game, who was one of the heads of the project, captured this wood elf. He tortures her to death and traps her soul in a cell where she remains for thousands of years. And
so he captures the head of the atheist movement?
Yes, the one who overheard and wanted to reveal it to the world. He kills her through torture and traps her soul in a cell. You, as the main character of the first game, actually get to meet her and talk with her soul. But without this wood elf and the Inquisition's forces, her group failed. And faith in these gods spread throughout the world. And the true nature of the gods was obfuscated.
That's such a cool concept. I love it.
It is. So it's so
they
great.
They literally made their own gods.
And so cool. And because there was this atheist group, you know that there are probably some documentation and things that can be unearthed later on about the true nature of the gods. And who knows if anybody would actually believe it.
Yeah, no. Yeah, super interesting.
Now, before these gods were created, they actually were made artificial bodies of flesh and bone of gigantic proportions called Titans. They acted as the body of these gods during the early days of their reigns.
Pause. I feel like every world in fantasy has Titans.
I don't think everyone does, but Titans are a cliche, yes. But I think that's
just a very big, huge trope. Like, oh my gosh.
I don't know if... I think it's because it's in our actual historical myths that we have.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Like Greek culture, Titans, and things. Like, it's like how every society has dragons.
Yep.
Like, somewhere in their history, dragons exist. They may not look the same, but they definitely are dragons.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, Titans are incredibly common in they're in every stinking fantasy setting that I'm aware of, except for Elder Scrolls. Does Elder Scrolls have Titans? I don't even know.
I know they have giants, but I don't know if they have Titans. Now, one interesting theory that I heard was that people believe that some dinosaurs lived past when we think they went extinct, and they think that the fact that every single society has dragons in it is that those were just they found these dinosaurs that still existed around the time, and there was very few of them, so it was like solitary. You'd find a dragon and its quotation marks horde, and then over time the stories would just get embellished, and all of a sudden these large reptiles are now blasting fire and doing all the and having a hoard of gold, and like the story just gets embellished. And so
grow up to be the size of a house.
Yeah, and so, well, I mean, dinosaurs were huge, so that was not an actual overstatement.
Yeah, but I mean, there are not very many dinosaurs that are the size of a house, to be honest.
But yeah, so that was an interesting theory I heard.
That's super interesting.
Yeah. Now, in the time of these Titans, when the gods were created and given into these bodies to kind of live out their early days of godhood, one of the gods, Andra, was worried about more people discovering the secrets of the gods' creation. Now, Aaron, I posted a picture of Andra in the Discord. You should definitely look at it right now. I posted actually a picture of all the gods, so you can actually go through and see what they look like.
Are those eyes or metal or both?
Where? On which one?
On his arm? Is that metal?
Oh, on Abaddon?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's metal. He's partially robotic. But that is another god. That is... Hold on. Okay, scroll down.
Andra the fish lady?
So her head is like an angler fish. It's horrifying. And then her body is that of a...
He's got a lot of boobs.
Yeah, naked woman with 4 breasts. It's a very interesting image. But all the gods in here are super weird and interesting in their own ways. But yeah, Pillars of Eternity gods are really cool. Now, Andra was worried about more people discovering their creation and how it happened, and wished to destroy the area where they were created to kind of obfuscate it even more and make it even harder to understand how they came to be. To destroy them, Andra called down one of Eora's moons. Most of the gods did not oppose this idea, but one god, Abaddon, who you just mentioned the picture of, did. For Abaddon was the god of crafting and the forge, and he believed in progress, industry, and preservation. He forged a mighty hammer and shattered the moon before impact, but it was not enough to destroy all of the fragments. So what he did to prevent as much damage as possible, he absorbed the largest fragment into himself. This destroyed his Titan form and even hurt him as well. Andra grieved the death, for she had loved him. The destroyed Titan form has become part of an abbey known as the Abbey of the Fallen Moon, in the place where it was destroyed and left to decay. Now, as you said from Abaddon's picture, he looks like he's like this weird partial cyborg. That's because originally the way that he comes back is he is able to forge himself like or I don't know how to say it because it's not really a robot. Body. It's not really a robot body, but
yeah, it's just
well, no, not what you're looking at. Not what you're looking at. Not that picture. But he forges himself a robot body. Later, he can be restored into that picture that you're looking at, where some of him is restored and he's only partially robotic at that point.
That's a pretty cool concept. I like that too.
But in the aftermath of this event and this loss, the gods agreed to abandon their Titan bodies, and they left them to decay on Eora. Now, that is what I have for the kind of overarching story of the gods of Pillars of Eternity.
Okay, well, first and foremost, whatever culture created Eothas, he's creepy. He's a cool-looking god. What is he made of, like metal or bronze, like tarnished bronze?
Okay. Eothas.
He's cool.
So Eothas is... I mean, there's a reason why it looks like he's drawn differently.
He looks like he's more powerful than all the rest of them combined, baby.
No, the one who is actually more powerful is...
the weird eyeball guy. It's got to be him.
Yeah, it's Wodika?
No way, it's not the mouth and eyeball guy. He's got to be the most...
Yeah, it's Wodika.
He's literally just a mass of eyeballs and eyes and mouths.
It's the god known as Wodika. She was supposed to be like the head of the pantheon, but Wodika, in the end, the others rose up against her and cast her out. And now she is known as...
Who the heck is this?
The exiled queen.
Oh, that's cool. I like that a lot, too. Who's this eyeball guy? Whale.
Well, he's a weird-looking guy, for sure. He is the patron of dreams, secrets, mysteries, and revelations.
Ah, does he eat people's dreams?
I didn't do a whole lot of research into him.
He's like a flesh monster, but of mouths and eyeballs instead of flesh.
Yep. But so Eothas actually, a lot of stuff happens in the games with Eothas. He's actually a main character, kind of, in the Pillars of Eternity game.
Way more powerful. He looks so much more powerful than all of them in this picture.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, what are we doing? What are we doing now again? I don't remember. We are
so we're gonna gods? So what we have so far is Evil God. Evil God created a world. He filled that world with people. These people created 9 kingdoms. These 9 kingdoms were told to fight each other, and whichever the leader of whichever group won would get to become a god. At this time, there was thousands and thousands of gods that were just mingling with humanity. When this war began over becoming a god, the evil god trapped all these gods away. So they were forced to watch as people were suffering and dying on the planet, on the world.
Yep.
In the end, the remaining human civilization, I believe we said humans, it was like a King Arthur like
something about
it was a King Arthur like guy who had this holy weapon which was actually forged by the gods to kind of help win. In the end, they have to fight the gods. This war, so many of them die. Thousands and thousands and thousands of them die. But in the end, the remaining however many, with the help of this king, kill the evil deity. Or at least imprison them. We're going to talk about who survived, like which deities survived, and why did they survive? Like, how were they the ones in this war to live?
Okay, interesting. So we're going to like flesh out the gods that survived and why they survived.
Yeah, and kind of like what their aspects are and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, my first initial thought... The very first thing that I came to was like a god of trickery and deceit, because he, I would picture him not really fighting as much, you know, kind of pretending. You know, and that's why he lived, not because he's like a coward or anything, but you know, he's just looking out for his own skin.
Now, half of me wants this to be originally he was not a god of trickery, but because of his acts in this war, he took on trickery as a domain.
That's interesting. Like, what would he have been before that? Part of like a cohort of gods of war and
no, I was thinking
bravery.
No, I think it was more like intelligence or pursuit of knowledge or something like that. And so this god was already one of the smarter gods.
See, I kind of like the idea of like a few like two gods of war, like one god of war, god of like, and a god of courage or something, like survived as well. And this guy was a part of their crew, but he like maybe it was the god of tactics or something, and kind of in the same genre of war and fighting. And now these two gods, the gods of war and bravery, like don't like him anymore, and they kicked him out of their little like group that they had. So
that's kind of what I was meaning.
Those three are still alive.
That's kind of what I was going to. I was saying
he's now an outcast from the gods of war.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was meaning. He had some reason that he could convince them not to fight, or make it look like he's doing just as much as they are. But in the end, they find it is revealed his deception. Maybe he even puts like a decoy on the battlefield, and the decoy is what is discovered. Like, wait, you're not actually here.
See, yeah, I like the idea going along those lines. I like the idea of because he's like the god of tactics, he sees that this situation doesn't seem like it's
100%.
very winnable.
Yeah.
And so he like flees and literally just leaves the fight to try and escape himself. And like you said, leaves like a decoy or something, like leaves a fake image of himself.
Okay. Now, what I want to have happen to the other two, because I think this act ultimately not just affects them negatively because he's not there, but I think they get physically damaged because this person left.
Well, yeah, so what I'm thinking is there's like a whole entire pantheon of war, and like 90% of it dies because he fled. Like a big
totally.
Reason.
But what I'm thinking is the only way that these two survived, because I think he thinks 100% every one of these people will die, so it's okay if I leave. So what I'm thinking, they take massive injuries. The only way for them to survive is to combine. And so they become
that's how we have Ettins.
Exactly. They become like Ettins.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I was going to have. I don't know if they create Ettins afterwards, but they at least become like the first Ettin. These two warring gods that have now been forced to combine. That was the only way they could live.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I just don't know if I want it to be represented with the gods of war. Although it is interesting though, because it'd be like two people warring over the same body like Ettins do.
Yeah, what I was more meaning is I wanted this person's betrayal to have physically affected these two gods, these other two.
Yeah, and which would be interesting and fun. And so now they're all combined into one being. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I think that's fun. I think that's cool. So then this god, then I'm assuming he'd like create Ettins giants and different warring clans of giants, and that's why giants all fight each other all the time, or what?
Okay, I think the god of the like now trickery domain god, I think they are their influence is most felt inside of cities. So maybe they're like even like the main god of like thieves guilds and stuff. So they are very prevalent inside cities. So I think that these two warring gods, as you said, create all giant types and Ettins and hill giants, and they almost make them like outright enemies to cities because this god's presence is there. And so Ettins, giants, and stuff will all attack cities. Like they are known to raid cities. Like it doesn't have to be constant, but enough that there's like it's known, and so cities have like giant defense.
like an Attack on Titan thing. No, I like the concept. I don't know if I like the idea of this god when he like forms into two, he creates giant kind and stuff, like a perfect specimen of warring race of strength and, But I don't know, like the trickery god, like this god who was once a god of tactics.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a part of me that wants him to like have created like some sort of race or group that's like trickery, like like goblins or something, and that's why there's always a constant conflict between giants and goblins or something, and not like against cities.
Okay, so
in general.
the thing is that I kind of see it as, this god does not like having trickery as one of their domain. Like I think it's a badge of shame for them. Now they still respect it as it is one of their things, that they are one of their domains, but I don't think they love it. And so what I'm thinking, whatever, like, because that's why I kind of wanted it to be they're related to cities, but I like that idea of the creations of these war deities are like to go to war against these the god of tactics people. And so
okay,
what I wanted to go to was, I couldn't think of like what they would create, but I don't think I would want it to be like something that's tricksy, because I think maybe that's like a small component of their thing, but they don't like that, so they wouldn't create something that is outright set to be tricksy.
I mean, I like the idea of him fully embracing it better, but if we're gonna go this route, I think goblins is a perfect thing that he creates, because he tries to create like a race that is brave and they fight and they war, but they end up turning into a race of trickery and deceit and stealth and hiding instead of a warring race. So you have like the antithesis of giants, which is like a small, thieving, conniving race, and not a warring giant race. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I think it fits really well.
I like that, and I would kind of want to change what the other gods create. Then what I would like to do is have them, the other gods, create orcs. No, sorry. Oh, yeah, orcs. Orcs. I want them to create orcs, because orcs and goblins make more sense to me. And I would like Ettins to be a type of orc now in this world.
Okay, yeah, I'm down with that. That's cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Like orcs raise Ettins, or Ettins rule over orcs.
Or like every few years, an orc child is born as an Ettin.
I kind of like the idea though, like also of, I know orcs aren't like Lord of the Rings orcs at all in D&D.
Yeah.
But the concept of how orcs in Lord of the Rings raise like cave trolls, but orcs in our D&D world raise Ettins for war and fighting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works.
I think I like that concept a lot. And they have like, like when they besieged cities or something, or they fight, they like use them to knock open gates, and like I like that concept.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like one creates a warring, the two-headed god creates a warring race, and then the god of trickery, who doesn't necessarily like that he's a trickery god, ends up trying to create a warring race to compete with this warring race, but they end up turning deceitful and tricksy, because that's what he is.
Yeah,
I think that's super interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's cool. I like these three gods.
So that's three. Yeah, that's three that we've got. I think we need to cover a little bit more basics. We need like an intelligence god, probably somewhere around in there, right? Do we like? Okay, what do we? I guess what do we want?
So that's the thing.
We want like basic concepts.
Well, no. So what I want to talk about is this pantheon horribly unbalanced, which I am totally cool with, because for some reason the only ones who survived were of a specific type of person or a specific type of god. So this pantheon is not balanced as normal pantheons would, because a lot of the things were a lot of the gods were just killed, and so there's nothing to fill that slot. Maybe they take them on, or maybe they just leave them empty.
Okay, I'm thinking we're gonna make a tragic death happen here. I want a god of forge or whatever, craft, because that's just a very common trope.
Yeah.
And I want this god to be married to one of the goddesses of intelligence. Okay? The gods and goddesses of intelligence were all wiped out, but the god of the forge captured her intelligence and then created a like.
Is it successful though? Is it successful?
What? Partially.
Okay.
So I think you have like a god of intelligence, but it's, I don't know. Like I like this. I like the concept of.
I kind of want it to be almost robotic and emotionless. Like he wanted the person that he loved back, and she was like, maybe she was also like a goddess of love, or like she had some other like emotional category, but this one is purely intelligence. That is
this is like pure knowledge and intelligence. So now like, so she's like a
robot.
What I'd have it be like a robot or like a spirit or like a.
I don't know I don't think you played Cyberpunk 2077.
No, I didn't. I watched a ton of gameplay on it though.
Well, at one point, you come across this entity that one of the characters knew in life. This person has been a part of
the car shop guy.
No. This person has been a part of computers for so long, they have lost all of their humanity. They feel like they are more.
What you're talking about.
Yeah, and so she is what I'm imagining for this intelligence deity. Like, she is just that's so what I was going for. Like it's the same person visibly, and talks the same, but it also is just so emotionless.
Like, I like the concept of she looks very close to the same, but she's made of, like, bronze or something, because he, like, forged her.
Yeah, it's definitely out of metal.
So she looks identical. Yeah, she looks identical, but she's made of metal because he literally created this body for her.
Mm-hmm.
But she's just a complete, like, literally void of all emotion and only intelligence.
Yeah.
I think that's a really fun concept. So those two survived, but not really, because she died, but he like captured her intelligence and her essence. Like he captured her intelligence. He wanted to capture her whole body, but he like at the time he didn't know that the only thing he captured and maintained was her intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he wanted to capture all of her soul, but he missed most of it.
Yes, he was unaware though. But like,
yes, 100%.
That's kind of what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that too. So that's 5. We have a god of the forge and craft or whatever. We have a war god who's 2 in 1, and then we have the trickery god and then the intelligence god who's literally void of emotion.
So I want to create a god of love.
Okay.
This god of love, they were in love, and they loved one of the other gods. Again, this is going to be a sad story. The god that they loved,
as war tends to create.
Yes, the god that they loved died, and so in anger for this, they took on the aspect of revenge as well, and hatred. And so they're this weird tainted person of what they used to be, because it's love, romance, hatred, and revenge.
So you're creating Anakin Skywalker, but a god.
Except it's hard to have revenge against pregnancy issues.
But that's what you're creating. All right, we're creating Anakin Skywalker.
And I don't believe in the power of the high ground. That's for sure.
Yeah. Good thing we're not creating the Obi-Wan god, so we're okay.
Ridiculous.
That'd be his ultimate weakness. Okay.
But so this
I like this concept.
What was the god that they loved? Does it matter?
Like a pair of love, like gods of love.
So what is the other aspects of love that this person could have had as their aspects?
Kindness, gentleness, and the other one
caring and self-control.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay, wait. What's that verse?
That's
love
why
is
that one
patient,
doesn't have
love is kind, love is those are their domains. Like kindness, patience, like those parts of love are there.
I'm thinking, yeah, and those two complete each other, and now that the other one is removed, the hatred is more expressed.
Yeah, they're very emotional.
They lacked certain aspects of love because those two completed each other as like goddess, like god and gods of love. Mm-hmm. They like completed each other, and now that one died, the other aspects of the god that remains are like accentuated even more. So, like that god lost kindness and patience as its completing set, and so now it doesn't have those, and that's why its anger and hatred is even worse.
Yeah.
So it like compounded into like these two gods like complemented each other to create love with all these different attributes. And then when it lost half of those attributes, now its hatred and anger also combine with its love. So that's how you have hatred and anger, but also love in the same goddess, like God.
Yeah.
I think that's super interesting too. Mm-hmm. And so that one survived. So we have this god of like love, but also hatred and anger, which is such a weird concept. Who the heck would... That's so weird. These gods are messed up, man. We need a normal, complete god, like just a god.
I was thinking
survived,
one of the forest, like one of nature, like a nature god. Whatever their aspects are, it's nature.
See, I like the god of the hunt, like a god of the hunt, and he didn't die because his companion dog, his hunting dogs,
every one of these gods lost someone in the war.
I mean, they would probably.
I like this. I like this god of the hunt that lost their companions.
Yep.
Their animal companions.
That lost. That's so sad.
That is. It's horrible. I love.
It's so sad. Yeah, a god of the hunt who lost his like hunting companion.
Mm-hmm. So I like that a lot. I don't know if you ever played this.
And that's why animals don't have souls in our world anymore.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
Because the god of the animals, who was the hunting companion, died.
What's the game that's really hard? Dark Souls. That's the word. I was like, I couldn't think of the name of it. There is a large wolf called like the Great Wolf something.
Yeah, it's
I'm thinking Sif is what I'm thinking.
Civ, yeah.
Great Wolf, the Great Grey Wolf Sif, and it was it's pretty much the opposite of what you just said.
Where he's tragic.
Yeah, he's guarding the grave of Artorias the Abysswalker, who was his, and so maybe this god of the hunt, just like Great Grey Wolf Sif, just guards the grave of their companion. Or at least is like that's where they reside by the side of. I like that. I like the idea of them guarding, but I think they should like guard the hunt. Like I don't know how I would have that be, but they guard the idea of the hunt, I guess, as like their animal companion once guarded them, or do they guard the people who hunt as his animal companion once guarded him? I think that's the story the believers go with. Like, he guards us as his animal companion once guarded him. Exactly. And I think that's like part of their whole shtick. Yeah, I don't think I see him as like guarding a grave like Civ does. Mm-hmm. I see him trying to like hunt and actively like. I also think it might be fun to have him have like a puppy that he's raising now. So he has like a little puppy as his little, like he's training him to hunt. I don't know if I would have it be a puppy, but but it's so fun though. No. It'll have still a literal god puppy. No. It'll still be a little animal. I'm just thinking it. I would like to look at specific monsters or beasts of like Dungeons and Dragons, like a baby Sabretooth. Yeah, it's like something like more interesting than just I get that. Yeah, like I was just the personality of a puppy, like a little baby. Yes, version. It's a little baby animal, for sure. And I think that would be that's just a really fun, wholesome thing, because now he's like raising a new, like he's now has a little puppy that he's raising. I love that. He's my new favorite. Okay, and
Yeah, so now he survived.
yes. Now, I think we should create an evil deity that was around from before and is still around now.
So, like, in this pantheon, there are evil and good deities?
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's not just... Okay. Yeah,
I mean, I don't trust any pantheon that doesn't have evil deities in it.
No, you're right.
You just can't trust those people.
We can't. No. I mean, what about, like, a god of sickness and decay? That's classic. What about a god of death? A god of misery? A god of... What evil god would survive besides trickery? Because that he's kind of evil already. He kind of already,
I like sickness and entropy. I like that. I like you said sickness and decay, but I would change it to the more fancy word entropy.
Yeah.
And I like that they just have this almost glum personality, like, oh, it's all gonna die in the end anyways type thing. And so because that they didn't go all out in the war.
I want multiple evil entities. We need multiple evil gods.
100%. I don't think it's just one.
We need like a terrible like god of destruction and death. Mm-hmm. Like we need like god of nuclear missiles.
Okay.
Like,
there is a god of death, and they got super powerful when all these gods started dying.
Oh yeah, that's good. I like that a lot.
Because the gods are dying, they're like getting super powered.
He like absorbs their power.
Yes.
He's some sort of like a horrible, evil maniac.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I like that a lot. He's the god of murderers.
Yeah, the murder, death, and that's
awful. Yeah.
Yeah, this is great. So this one gets super powerful based on this thing. What does he do with this power?
There's a part of me that, and I'm not sure if I like this or not, so I'm going to run this by you. What if he was, like, kind of kneecapped by the gods in society? So he didn't start out as powerful as them, so he's only, like, a little bit more powerful than them now. So it's not like he can rule over the pantheon.
He was like a demigod or like a lesser deity.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And once all the gods died, he gained so much power, and now he's on par with them, and now he's like his goal is to like murder and kill to get stronger and stronger until he can get revenge on the gods.
Mm-hmm. I think his...
I like that.
Okay.
Because I think I want to avoid like a god who's way more powerful than all the rest.
Yeah. So I like the idea that he was a lesser deity and he gained a lot of power, and then realized, wait, I can just do that. I can just kill other gods and get powerful, and like maybe he never thought about that. Yeah. And so now he's like, oh, that's all I'm gonna do.
Yep. Yeah, he's like, and he tried to murder the evil god to gain full power.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. Oh, I have a great idea. Okay, what if we don't make him? What if we make him as like a normal god? Okay, like we make him. He was a normal god. And in the battle, he was like, yo, if I murder the big bad evil god, I can gain so much power. And in like the beginning of the battle, he tried to kill him, but he got just rocked. Like he lost all of his power trying to kill him. Like he stabbed him or something and just immediately withered and died. But then through the course of the battle, because all of these gods died, he regained a bunch of power, and that's why he survived the fight.
Okay, so he tried to go up against the evil deity by himself, failed.
Yeah.
Then everybody dying.
Like, if I murder him, I will get so much power.
Mm-hmm. And so, okay, what I'm thinking is that just one thing aspect of this god, I think he's the only god that has a great, like he has a positive opinion of this war. Everybody else like, it was terrible.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I lost everything. And then he's just like, no, it was pretty good. I learned some new stuff about my powers. I'm more powerful now.
Maybe the beginning of the battle starts, and as gods start to die, he starts to realize that he's like
that's
more power,
and that's why
so then he's like,
that's why he had the thought of, oh, I'm powerful enough, I can take on that guy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and he goes and tries to fight him by himself,
And
he
hubris
just gets...
is his downfall.
Yeah. So he dies. Like, he doesn't die, but he gets... Well, I even might like it that he dies himself, but then because of all of these gods dying, he's essentially like brought back as the strength of normal god again. Or just being very weak. One of the two.
I was gonna say I don't know if I would have him die. I feel like that would just be. I don't think it's necessary.
Yeah, I don't think either. I think I like the like, if I had to like equate it to a scene in a movie, it would be like when I can't remember if it was Merry or Pippin when they stab like the Witch King or whatever, and like his hand like he essentially like not dies, but he like withers in pain.
Yeah,
it's like that. Like he goes up and tries to stab him, and like he immediately just gets like,
yeah,
like he stabs his leg and just like withers in pain. Yeah, but then over the course of the battle, he regains his power from all the death. So now he's alive.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Okay.
So god of sickness before we end it.
Yeah, god of sickness.
So why is he alive, and what does he do, and why?
He was sick.
He was sick, so
he stayed home. He was sick. He had a cold. He
had a cold.
He had chicken noodle soup, and he got chicken noodle soup. It was wonderful.
That's so good though. And now sickness prevails in the world because he wasn't sick when
maybe it was like a lesser deity, and he gained the greater deity like domain of sickness because he was sick on the day of the battle.
I think I just like him as a plain god, and because he's always sick, because he's the god, he's like always sick.
Always sick. That's great.
He's just always sick.
He's just like blowing his nose like, oh, sorry, hold on.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I've never seen a god. It's so like
even when people like see him in like now, like he's still sick, and that's why he's miserable all the time, because he's literally always sick. He's the ultimate spreader of COVID-19. I love that. That's
his
funny.
name is
that's hilarious.
Is Vid.
Yeah, that's funny.
Take out the co part. Is
he
Vid.
was sick. He was sick, and he
missed the battle.
Participate in the battle. That's so ridiculous.
I love that.
I love how the evil gods, the two that we've made today, are just like ridiculous.
Yeah, this is.
I love how the good gods are all like, they have tragic, horrible backstories, and the evil gods are like, I was just sick, man. I couldn't make it.
I didn't want to fight. I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I just didn't want to be there. Oh, you thought you had to be there? So no, funny. Man, you don't have to be there. Could have just said no.
That's funny. Oh man. Well, can we make one more before time goes? Or do we
I think we could throw one in here. Is this good or bad?
I kind of want to make another evil one, to be honest.
Another evil one. This evil one, their domain should be tragedy. Like, almost, it's like that, like stuff that you can't account for. Stuff going wrong that you cannot account for. Tragedy, and I don't know, you would call that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
unfortunate events.
I would do like he's a god of tragedy, and destiny, like a mix.
Yeah, tragedy and destiny. That works. I like those.
Yeah, or fate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he's kind of a neutral god. Maybe he's tragedy, destiny, and then like the good version as well. Maybe he's like all of the above.
Yeah, tragedy, destiny, and fate.
Yeah. And
seers of it.
Okay, why did he survive, and how did he survive?
I think he has foresight, so he can like see in the future, and he saw like his death, and he's like, I'm just not going to go to that side of the battle.
Maybe not. Yeah. You know, I'm going to go against the fate, destiny, and tragedy, and I'm going to...
I know my domain says I should do this, and maybe he constantly has bad luck. Maybe he has bad luck because he defied fate in that moment and lived when he shouldn't.
Yeah, so now he's also he's a god of luck and unluck, but like and now that he essentially was like, nope, I'm just gonna say no to this. He's now constantly
cursed.
Unlucky.
Yeah.
Like you meet him and he like stubs his toes. He like walks into the temple.
I wouldn't make it so silly, but yes.
No, I know. No, absolutely. But yeah, no.
Yeah, okay. I like this.
Yeah,
Well,
a god of fate who actively defied fate and destiny because he foresaw it to not die in a battle.
Well, that is episode 42 of Dungeoneered.
Dang.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. And if you listen to us on any podcasting app where there's ratings and reviews, please let us know. Please what you think of the show, and just putting your thoughts out there really helps the show. Shows there's engagement in other ways.
Man, I just had the biggest burp of all time, but I muted it just for you.
Why would you talk about that then? Why would you muted it? You saved the show from hearing about it, and you're like, no, I gotta tell him. I gotta get this in.
It's too late now.
It's a very Dungeoneered thing to do. Ugh. Well, thank you for listening to episode 42, and always remember to be the sharpest barrel in the bunch. See you next time.
Yo, 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 yo.
Is that goodbye? Or are you just yoing?
Bye. Yeah, that's bye.
Okay. Bye.